So for those that don't know, Frank is a world-class drummer for the band Sum 41. We connected, what, about 3 years ago, 2 years ago?
Yeah, when I started like our long touring cycle on the last album cycle, when I was having issues.
Empowering you organically, delivering content you trust with results you love.
Welcome everyone to another episode of Empowering You Organically. I'm your host, Jonathan Hunsaker, with very special guests today, Lauren and Frank Zummo. Thank you guys for joining us.
Thanks for having us, man. Good to connect.
Absolutely. So for those that don't know, Frank is a world-class drummer for the band Sum 41. We connected, what, about 3 years ago, 2 years ago?
Yeah, when I started like our long touring cycle on the last album cycle, when I was having issues and lots of inflammation just from, and this is Brixton by the Riot, by the way.
Wrong kid.
Yeah, when I was having lots of inflammation and issues just from the amount of shows and, you know, just being a drummer, it just takes a toll playing so hard. And it was just bad. Like literally it was scary bad with just my shoulders, how bad they were inflamed and my forearms get inflamed. And that's when my wife actually found you guys. And that started this journey about, 3 years ago.
So was that the biggest issue, was just shoulder pain that you were trying? I mean, was it so bad you couldn't play?
It was at the end of that one tour before we broke for the holidays. It was scary bad that like there was sound check that we were doing before the show that night. And I was like playing with one hand because I just didn't want to mess up, you know, my body even more for the show. And then our tour manager was able to get in a local cupping person. And I tried cupping for the first time and that kind of got me through the show, but it was not good. And it was scary. And that's when we discovered the miracles of turmeric, you know, of just with inflammation. And now I can start feeling it come on in forearms or my hands. So I'll really get proactive and try to, you know, get it before it becomes that bad of an issue. And thank God it hasn't, again, you know, but I mean, you know, there's days that hurt. There's days that, you know, it's harder. You know, it's really like being a football player in a sense with just, you know, playing this many shows. You know, we play anywhere from an hour and a half to 2 hours a night. And, you know, I don't know how to tone it down. I go as hard as I can because just the energy, that kind of music is the way it just needs to be attacked. And when you're playing to that many people going that crazy, it's just kind of the way that I do it. I just want to give my all. And that comes with, you know, the aches and pains. Yeah. The beating. So, you know, I've just had to restructure my life around a regimen that works now. I mean, it's a 2-hour process to get ready for the show. And it's like a 30-minute process after the show. And then just all through the day, putting the right things in your body and just taking care of yourself. And, you know, I literally consult with athletes now and, you know, companies like Organixx to help me on this journey because, you know, musicians and drummers especially are athletes and most people don't really realize that, I think. And consulting with athletes and sports medicine people and supplement companies and vitamin companies and all that stuff, you know, that's been the partnership that has helped and it's really changed my life. You know, I want to do this forever. I don't ever want to retire and not do this. You know, this is who I am and it's why I wake up every day and why I'm inspired. And I want to make sure that I can do that every day. So I have to just constantly push the envelope and try to just be as healthy as I, you know, humanly can to be able to do this.
Absolutely. So Lauren, you're the one that found us initially, right?
Right.
And so why were you looking for organic solutions as opposed to prescription meds, or did you guys try prescription meds? And what's your story?
It's so funny because I was talking to one of my family members and I think she said the other day, she said, we've kind of always been that way. And I'm like, was I? It's like, I can't even remember have I always been? I don't know. I happen to believe that, you know, well, first of all, organic to me, it's just an absolute no brainer. You know, I mean, pesticides and insecticides are poison. So like small increments of poison is better. That, like, no, you know what I mean? It just, to me, it's like obviously I don't want that in my food and my anything I give my family, my children, you know, in any way, shape, or form, whether it's like what I'm putting on my skin or whether it's what I'm putting in my body, or, you know what I mean? So for me, organic is just like a total no-brainer. But on the other side of it, as far as like prescriptions, I think it started because like I became allergic to penicillin when I was in high school. And then when I was in college, I got a flu shot and broke out in hives, you know? So I think I've just always had these sensitivities, and it's driven me to look for other solutions. And when I somehow forget about that, you know, and then I'll go back to like, why am I this way again? Why are we going through all of this to, you know, make like better decisions? And then, you know, we try another conventional something, and then we get a reaction, and it's like, okay, well, that's why. That's why, because I'm allergic to everything. You know, but so that's really what has drawn me to like alternatives from just conventional. I feel like the conventional medical system really addresses like the symptom and not the root cause or what's really going on. And so, you know, if we can look at ways to address, you know, what's really going on inside, you know, versus just, you know, a Band-Aid.
Exactly. There's no money in a cure, right?
Right, exactly.
It's a challenge with supplements. You know, some people can take them for a while and it actually heals them, and then you don't need to take them as long, or different things like that. And so it's a different mindset. But I remember, I want to say it's about 3 years ago, you guys reached out, you were asking about our turmeric. We sent you a bunch of our different products. And what has that done for you now, Frank? I mean, has that made a big difference? Did you feel a difference when you started taking any of the supplements?
100%. I mean, I had told her, you know, the issues I was having on tour and how, you know, I was scared with, you know.
This little guy's walking around with a drumstick, by the way.
Right.
Yeah.
Everything.
It's in the blood, right?
Seriously. But yeah, I had told her what was going on, and she had, you know, been following a lot of the work that you were doing with the Truth About Cancer. And through that rabbit hole, she found turmeric.
I found, I had an email that said like, you know, addressing inflammation. And I'm like, okay, there might be something to this. Let's look into this. You know, I think
and
that's
by the
how
way,
it
thank
started.
you guys for sending out those emails, because like it's super informative. It's not just like buy our product, we have this new, you know, release. It's like the fact that you guys put that much effort into it is why you guys are crushing the game, you know, in that, because it's all about engaging and all that. Like, you know, I play SJC Drum Company, and they are the same way. It's not just about this is business and numbers and we got to move product. Like, they cross that barrier with the consumer and with their fans and demographic and all that. And it's like, it's really great the way that you guys do that. And because, you know, you would think if you're following the Truth About Cancer, you know, how do we find this turmeric? Just because you guys send so much informative stuff about your company and the things that you guys believe in and you're part of, you know, it came to this. And we were on break at that point, and she sent me that email. I read it, and she's like, I'm going to order you this turmeric stuff, and let's just try it. I tried it on the break, and then I went on a 9-week tour, which is the longest tour I've ever done in my life, with a consecutive tour, being out for 9 weeks in Europe, playing 2 hours a night, you know, playing the crazy music that we play. And I didn't have one issue. I didn't have to call in, you know, a sports therapist on that tour. I would get, you know, occasional massages just for, you know, to work on my body, but it wasn't like, hey, I'm having an issue because this is wrong or whatever. And that's when, you know, I had literally, we're consumer. We bought your product, and I got on your mailing list through that. And when you get those emails, you know, that you guys send out, it usually in companies, it goes to, you can't reply, a no reply thing. And I was like, you know what, like, this changed my life. I'm just going to let them know. And I sent you guys, like, you know, 2 sentences, and actually got a response. And then they looped you in with me, and we started this relationship. Was really amazing because I just wanted to let you guys know, like, how, you know, I didn't know if you knew drummers were using your stuff and it was helping my life. And that's when you said, hey, like, let's get on a program that works. And, you know, the first thing I do when I wake up in the morning is I think there's 6 bottles of stuff I take with you guys to start my day. The 7M+ to keep my wellness on the road with the amount of, you know, I live on a tour bus with 12 people. It's an incubating germ sickness place, you know, and with all the traveling, with all being on the plane, with, you know, we get run down a lot. So I have to try to, especially, I get more run down being home. I mean, I slept 5 hours last night because of the kids and, you know, all that. And I'm doubling up on that now because I know, you know, so I take that, probiotics, because I'm eating all different random stuff every day in all these different countries I'm in with different catering backstage. And I absolutely eat as clean as I can. And if I can't, I will do a bone broth smoothie with your guys' products and load it with everything I possibly can with the collagens and all that. But, you know, the turmeric pills, I just started taking the Age of Spring that you guys came out with, the Organixx, that, and then the multivitamin. So that's 6 that I take every morning. And I have those bottles in my suitcase with me so I can have it always. It's at home, in my home. And then I have a dressing room case that literally is just got my warm-up kit, my backstage clothes, and all my supplements and bullet, you know, for smoothies and all that stuff. And then on the tour bus, I have all that stuff. So when I finish the show, I go directly to the bus and I make a bone broth smoothie loaded with the collagens and all that good stuff, because, you know, we get off stage about 11 o'clock every night generally. I can't go eat, you know, a big meal like that and then go to bed. It's just, I don't feel well. So I'll do a smoothie to know that I can load up with all the proper things that I need. I don't feel gross, and then I can lay down and sleep fine and all that. So that's pretty much my after show, you know, routine every night. And then when I'm home, I'll do that in the day for lunch. That'll be my lunch because I can obviously make a proper dinner at a decent time, you know. So it's like I kind of have a regimen at home and on the road, and I have to keep up with it. And that's why I have, you know, these products with me and all these, you know, different things, so I always can have it. You know, and it's like you guys keep evolving, keep coming out with, you know, amazing stuff. I just came home and I had you guys new the face serum stuff, you know, so I'm gonna take that on.
Looking young, you know,
using that. I mean, you know, it is, you know, we are entertainers. I do want to look good, so if that can help, great.
No, and thank you for all that feedback. I appreciate it. It is a challenge when we're a company that's not about all profits. I mean, we have to make a profit, of course, but it's all about education. Really, you know, and that's why my next question, it's not about our supplements, but what are some of the other supplements that you take? I know you were talking about Laird Hamilton stuff before we started recording, but what are some other things that you're taking, and what are some other things you have in your routine, whether it's stretching or a certain amount of sleep? What's other stuff that you're doing?
Constant training. You know, when I'm off tour, I have a boxing coach. I'm boxing weekly. I go to the gym. I run constantly, just cardio. This way, when you know, if we're on a break and I go back on stage, I'm not feeling, you know, whooped. I just constantly have to keep that intensity up, and I just need it for my head too. I need that daily release. You know, it's just such a positive, you know, thing to feel, you know, with all that. And then, you know, even going a step further, before this last tour we got off of, I trained for a month with Laird Hamilton and Gabby Reese. And, you know, I went on Gabby's podcast about 3 years ago, and we broke down, and she was just telling me, you know, from an athlete standpoint about, you know, conditioning and things to do. And that really, really helps. So she's been kind of like, whenever I need advice on that, I'll always, you know, consult with her. And we've just become really good friends. And I've always wanted to do the pool training with them, because that's something that is scary to me, out of my comfort zone. And I train with them, and it was one of the most incredible things I've ever done in my life. And I'm going to go to Hawaii in March on our break and go fully dive in and train with them on one of their retreat things. Really? You know, it's just been the greatest thing for my head, and just to be trained by, you know, these incredible athletes and do stuff that I never thought I could do, or, you know, they're helping expand my breathing with, you know, all this breath work and all that. So, you know, I love coffee because I don't party. I gave up that lifestyle. I don't party. I don't drink alcohol on tour, any of that kind of stuff. You know, and, you know, I love coffee. So that's kind of like my little thing. So, you know, Laird changed the game with, you know, healthy, amazing coffees. So I use his coffee and creamers. I'll even put those in my smoothies sometimes too, which is great. And then when I take all your guys' vitamins in the morning, instead of slamming it with water, he's got this Activate, which is like cayenne and lemon and all this stuff to kind of jumpstart your day. So I'll take that with all your guys' vitamins and all his like coconut waters to just stay hydrated, which is really important with just, you know, how I'm doing it. And then I do icing. When I'm with them training, I do full ice bath stuff. On tour, I obviously can't travel with that. So I have a Home Depot paint bucket. And for like 4 minutes before the show and after the show, I do from the tips of my fingers to like as far as I can get an ice to reduce inflammation and help with that. I do a bunch of cardio and light workout stuff, you know, backstage. We just actually were in Canada doing hockey arenas, and they have all the gyms backstage, you know, for the hockey teams. So I got to go in and use these amazing gyms every day, which was really amazing as part of my warm up, which, you know, I wish we could have every day. That was pretty cool. And then I just do a ton of stretching. You know, I have the rollers to lay on to work out any knots or any issues I have. And that's like a 2-hour process. And I actually have a warm-up kit in the dressing room as well that I'll get on for 45 minutes to an hour, because I can't come on stage stiff. And especially we've been playing some really cold hockey arenas and stuff. So I have to be as loose and warm, you know, get a sweat going beforehand so I can attack this not stiff, because if I am stiff, I'm not going to function properly and play this stuff properly, because we come out of the gate, it's so fast. So, you know, I have kind of my little sanctuary world backstage where I can, you know, do what I have to do to do the absolute best, you know, to perform every day. And it kind of works for me. And like on that 9-week tour, when I started working with you guys is when I kind of put this whole routine together. And, you know, now I'll learn different things or add little different things here or there. And the only other, you know, products that I'll use throughout the day is Primal Kitchen. They're like bars, they're protein bars and stuff like that. They've been great. They have really good, clean bars. And, you know, just eating, you know, as cleanly as I can from, you know, what we have. But like, it's great now, the world we live in, where I can literally just on my phone, put in a Whole Foods order and get everything I need for breakfast, lunch, my smoothies, and just have it delivered to my tour bus. You know, it's pretty amazing. Like in Europe, really can't do that. And they don't have a lot of the things that we have here. So I kind of have a separate, you know, kind of thing there with what I can get there, or even Japan, places like that. But we've been lucky. This year, we've mainly been in America and Canada. So that's been easier. Now it's going to be harder when we start going to Asia and all these other places. But like, that's why I travel with a case, so I can have my stuff, and I have like the different blenders for the different voltages and all that kind of stuff. I mean, you know, I just geek out on that stuff so I can just constantly stay the same and just be, you know, as healthy as possible.
I mean, it makes a big difference. Like, and the one thing that you say that I don't even know that I grasped it until I went on the show in person is how much you are an athlete, right? So you think band and you don't really think athlete. Well, go watch one of your shows from beginning to end and you were jamming nonstop. And so, yeah, it's just really interesting. I mean, all the stuff that you're doing, the weight training, the boxing, the cardio, I mean, it's all necessary to keep up your lifestyle or your profession, even not even your lifestyle. But yeah, and I wish I liked coffee. You know, I've heard so much about Laird's stuff. I've listened to him on Joe Rogan. I've listened to Gabby Reese. I need to try it just for the sake of trying it, just because I know how much good stuff they put in it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've heard amazing things.
I mean, they make matcha, really good matcha. They make a great matcha, and then all the coconut waters with all the different flavors and stuff. It's all amazing. So if coffee's not your thing, they do have those things to check out, which are super good and healthy.
You know what? I've never really been a big coffee person either. And I started doing what before this little guy. What was it? The instant.
Oh yeah, the Insta Fuel. It's kind of just like, just throw it in hot water, and you can add a creamer to it, and it's like.
And there's like they've got like, is it cacao creamer or a turmeric creamer? So there's a couple different like, and it's not it's sweet, but it's not sugar. It's like coconut. Well, I guess it's coconut sugar. Some of the stuff they have, you can also use. It's all very coconut based, but I don't know. It's not like your typical coffee, I want to say. Just try it.
Yeah, for sure. I need to. I've heard so much good stuff about it. So Lauren, let me ask you, because Frank's on tour a lot, so you're home with 2 little ones all the time. What do you do? What's your routine? Do you have any things that keep you going throughout the day?
Well, it's time to eat here now.
Other than having to chase them constantly as part of your routine?
Yeah, right. Well, so, I mean, I work, so, you know, I'm like juggling a lot, but, yeah, I mean, I normally do the, bone broth, like Organixx bone broth, protein powder in a smoothie every morning. It's like my favorite. I mean, my smoothie, you know, it's like, I'm addicted to smoothies. But, yeah, and more recently, you know, I'm not getting enough sleep. That's like my big thing that I really need to work on. If I should have like a New Year's resolution going on, to figure out what I can do about that, because sleep for me is like, there's just not enough hours in the day to do everything. So I've got to either simplify or cut some things out or care less about the perfection of things. I don't know. But I started feeling like, kind of joint pain in a way. I don't know how to describe it. It wasn't really joint pain, but it was like my hand, you know, swelling, and I'm like, what on earth? So actually I started using the Turmeric 3D, and also feeling like getting that vitamin D. I was like listening to another podcast about how huge vitamin D is for, you know, like preventative, you know, prevent from getting sick. And I'm thinking, you know, I'm not getting enough sleep, which, okay, I'll work on that. But in the meantime, I got to like at least boost my, you know, boost everything, my system as best as I can. And so, yeah, I started taking that, and I felt like that was really helping me with, I probably was getting some kind of inflammation going on in my hands, but, so yeah, so I've incorporated that, as well into my routine. I still do like a prenatal vitamin, for this guy. I'm still nursing. And so I have that going on, but yeah, I mean, he's like an example to us all, you know, of, you know, optimal health and how to maintain that. He makes it a priority, you know, whereas I need to work on that, you know, making, those things, sleep and exercise, you know, a priority. You know, but I actually, my job is transitioning now. I'm going to be working from home, coming up. So it's, and he's a pianist too. So yeah, so I think that, I'll probably have a little more flexibility, maybe go on a walk or a run or whatever, you know, so.
Well, and it's nothing to feel guilty about. I mean, I own a supplement company, and I was, you know, I continue to get healthier. I don't even think I'm as healthy as Frank is, all the time, you know, and I have no excuse other than I work too much, and I have 3 5-year-old girls that I'm chasing. So it's interesting. I like to ask different people, because it's all of us, right? Everybody wants that one solution. Everybody wants to know, okay, what supplements do I take every day? What exercise do I do every day? And who knows, right? It's different for everybody. Everybody has different issues. We have different diets. We have different needs. So it's just nice to hear what other people are using to let our audience know that you have to play with it and just listen to your body and make changes and make adjustments as you go along.
Actually, I got to say one other thing too. He just put in my bathroom that vitamin C serum too. Yeah. And I literally noticed it just like yesterday. I'm like, okay, I got to try this, because even that, you know, I'm using whatever product and I feel like they changed their formula. And so I'm like, okay. And then I see this and I'm like, oh, all right. And I think on the box even says like, you know, why you guys are making it. Like people want a product, you know, for their skin and whatever they can trust. And that's huge for me too. Like it's not even just what's in the body, but on it, because that like soaks in, right, to our skin.
We weren't going to go down that rabbit hole, but the same with supplements. When I first started with supplements and I realized how corrupt the industry was, if that's the right word to use, just how crap most of the supplements are, how cheaply they're made, and they're all made with regular grown ingredients. So they have a lot of pesticides, insecticides, herbicides in them. So once we went down that rabbit hole, we had to change everything with supplements. Now it's the same with skincare. Like we started researching, people were asking, it's like, well, do we turn them onto this one? And as we researched more, it was like, well, we can do this better. So that's where the vitamin C serum came from. We have an eye cream. We're recording this ahead of time, so that actually launches tomorrow. So we have a new eye cream that's coming. We have an anti-aging serum. So a lot of stuff to change the game there, because our skin's our biggest organ. And most women don't realize that they're getting all of these toxins in that might smooth out your wrinkles for that day, but they're aging you much more over the long run. And so it's just toxins. It's just more crap out there, quite frankly.
And so do you guys have like other skincare products besides just?
We're coming out with them. So we just launched the serum as the first product. Our eye cream is coming out, and then the anti-aging will come out late January. And then we have, I think, 4 others that we're planning. So we'll have 7 different things. I think we're looking at a face scrub and different stuff. So not going too far down the rabbit hole, because it's hard as a small company to have so many SKUs and to keep stock of so many products. And we're trying to get the basics handled, just because that's what everybody's asking for.
That's awesome.
And I totally forgot too. One of the biggest thing that our entire family uses is your guys' essential oils.
Yeah.
Like that is the first thing when I go in my dressing room every day. I diffuse. I have either, you know, the blends, either Shield, just to keep, you know, from getting sick. And it smells incredible. Like everybody that walks in my dressing room when I have Shield is like, what is that? And I'm just like, it's essential oil. And then I use in my hotel rooms, like either Relax or Relief. And I have a diffuser in my bunk on the tour bus too. And that one goes in my hotel rooms with me. So I'm constantly diffusing, which is great. And then we use the different blends in like the different, you know, hand kind of like home remedy things we use for my hands when they're cracking. Like we'll mix your guys' oils with coconut oil and kind of make like a cream for my hands, you know, because especially in the winter, my hands start cracking.
You got the phone.
My hands start cracking just from playing shows and the weather and stuff. So that stuff helps. And then just like all the wellness stuff, she'll make up different blends and stuff and use them on the bottom of our feet. You know, the different lemon oils in the kids' room as well. And then one of my favorite other things is the green powder.
Organic greens, yep.
And I use that daily as well on the road. That's awesome.
I need to have you on all of my shows, because you're the best promoting our supplements here. No, but thank you for that, man. I appreciate that. So to wrap up, one, thank you guys for taking the time. Clearly you're busy, and I just appreciate you taking time to spend with our listeners, spend with me, and kind of share some of your tips and tricks of what you're doing. This is one of Terry Ann's questions that she usually asks. I'll go ahead and ask it. If you had one thing that you could share with the world.
One thing that what?
If you just had one thing that you could say or share with the world, what would that one thing be? That one bit of advice?
One bit of advice that I'd want to say or share with the world. The first thing that comes to mind is, you know, I think one of the most proud things I am is about trying to inspire the youth and really try to, because there's just so much, you know, the world that we live in now, the amount of negativity and just all the negative sides to social media and all that, you know, and the positives to all that, how we have such amazing resources now and ways for upcoming artists and musicians and just everybody in walk of lives, you know, with the power of, you know, the amazing technologies and things that we have now. You know, there's not enough people out there trying to I think, inspire the youth and really give back, especially in a position, you know, that I'm fortunate enough to be in, when there's that many eyes on me at shows and on social media. And that's why, you know, I make it a really important point to go out and work with communities and kids, you know, on these, you know, we took basically drum clinics and turned them on their head and made these great places where kids can go at skate parks and venues, and, you know, where I'm letting the youth come and give them the stage to do whatever they want. Young kid bands, young kid drummers. Then I'll go up there and play a little bit, and then just literally sit down on the floor with the kids and just bond and try to inspire these kids, and then perform with them. And, you know, I've taken them on the morning news shows in, you know, the city that they're from, and to try to help jumpstart their careers and give them, you know, these opportunities and things that I never had. And it's been one of the most incredible things that has been working. You know, like, I'm constantly getting emails from these kids that, you know, there's a girl drummer right now who is literally a YouTube star because she was inspired by, you know, and she wasn't even performing that night. I literally pulled her up on stage and she played like one drum next to me, and like all these amazing stories of kids that were having depression issues that, you know, drums and all this helped them bring out. And like, that to me is one of the most important things of my career and everything. And just inspiring the youth, trying to mentor kids, and, you know, the advice. And I talk about all this stuff too, just the wellness and things that you don't hear, you know, rock stars talking about, because it's not cool to be healthy and, you know, all this kind of stuff. Like, F all that. Like, you know, to me, that's so important. And, you know, I would rather be, you know, remembered for stuff like that than, you know, selling out some concert somewhere or selling this many records or things like that. This is something that I feel is really important, because I didn't have these opportunities or people telling me this stuff when I was coming up, you know, and I think it's just really important now. So that's kind of the first thing that came to mind. I don't know if that really answered your question, but.
No, it absolutely does, man. I mean, I think that's awesome. I think a lot of today, the kids are raised by their devices, right? So they're on their phones and their social media and Instagram, and they're not getting the personal attention. They're not getting that direct attention that they need. And I don't think that they're always getting the best influence. So I think what you're doing is making a massive impact, because it's not just affecting that one girl. It's affecting all of her friends that are seeing it happen. You know, it's affecting her family. It's all that. And that's the beautiful thing about being able to do stuff like that. I wish we had more people that did more stuff like that, worried less about being Insta famous and focused more on kids and their community, because that's the only way that we're going to see true change. Otherwise, we're going to just continue, I think, blindly going down the digital rabbit hole, right? Where we go further and further disconnected from people in our life.
I have a question for you, and if this takes us off track, then you could edit this out, whatever. But are you at all involved or hearing the chatter about, like, I don't know if it's FDA or whoever that's trying to kind of come down on the supplement industry?
It's been happening for a while. So they're trying to, a lot of pharmaceutical companies are trying to get rid of the supplement industry and vitamins. We're direct competition for them. Right. It's the same thing. I mean, you know, they sell all kinds of prescription inflammatories versus being able to take a turmeric supplement. The challenge is the supplement industry is not very well regulated. So they try to use that as the argument, but then to shut it all down because of that fact. And now they're just going to want to move it towards pharmaceuticals are the only ones that can put out supplements. Now you're just going to end up with more crap, in my opinion. And we're going to end up with more genetically modified ingredients. We're going to end up with more patented ingredients. We're going to end up with a lot of stuff that I just don't think is natural for our bodies, nor do we need it. I think there's a time and place for some pharmaceuticals, but for the most part, I think anything can be handled with diet, nutrition, and natural. So to answer your question, it's I'm not stressed about it and this is why we educate. And this is why I don't mind promoting other products. I don't like endorsing other supplements that don't believe in the organic lifestyle like we do, because I think that's also another part of the problem. But that's why, you know, I asked Frank, what other stuff is he taking? Because the more that we can all kind of come together and stay strong and stay strong with the organic movement and organic supplements, they're not going to be able to shut us all up. right? And they're not going to be able to shut us all down. And, you know, I think it's just them reaching for straws at a battle that they're starting to lose more and more of.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. Because I totally agree with you. I mean, to me, that's a big takeaway for, you know, I mean, maybe your audience is already in on this, but, you know, just the idea that, you know, we have to stay vigilant, you know, in protecting this option of helping heal ourselves through plants and, you know, things that are naturally grown on this planet versus, you know, something that was, you know, a synthetic pharmaceutical product. Exactly. Because that's, you know, they, like you said, they would like to have the complete monopoly on that. I mean, the same thing is happening with like homeopathic remedies right now. You know, they're trying to say that they're not well regulated or something, you know, that some are not, you know, it's not as regulated, like you're saying, probably the supplement industry. So it's like they want to just, you know.
Yeah, and when you know, people don't want to realize that prior to like 1930s, all medical schools were homeopathic, you know, and that's what they were teaching was homeopathy. And that's what's, you know, that's the ancient medicines that have been passed on for so long that work. But in my opinion, the way I know that we'll never lose this battle is look at marijuana, right? So that's a big, I mean, that's taken a big hit in their pocketbook. And they tried to do medical marijuana for a while, and they've lost the battle, right? It's now, I think, on the Senate floor to be approved nationwide, right? So it's not going to be criminalized anymore. And I think we're within a few years it's legalized nationwide. And the fact that that has happened goes to show me that it'll be impossible to get rid of supplements, right? Because they tried to get rid of marijuana. They wanted to patent it. They wanted to do all this other stuff. And you just couldn't keep the truth hidden that long. It was just blatantly obvious what it does and how it helps heal people. It's the same thing with turmeric. Turmeric has over like 2,000 studies. If they were to try to make a turmeric supplement illegal, it would never fly because there's just too much information out there on it. And so, because people do ask and they're like, are you worried about it? Are you stressed about that? Look at marijuana and the fact that that is getting to the place where it's going to be. There's no way, you know, if that's going to win, there's no way I have anything to worry about.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like CBD now is, you know, a very big popular thing. I had a lot of drummers friends say that they were using CBD with the supplements and all this stuff. And, you know, I tried it and I found a really clean, organic, you know, place that had the oil. And whenever like I am starting to feel like a little bit inflamed or whatever, like I'll put it on, you know, before the shows, and it definitely helps. You know, with everything combined, you know, it definitely helps. And I really felt a difference. And when we were rehearsing for like 9 hours a day for a week straight, and I was training too, and I was just like really, really sore. And it was definitely helping. And like I have a lot of drummer friends too that are like backing it and swear by it too. So, you know, if you could find the good, clean, you know, organic kind, like, you know, I think that's a great healer helper as well.
I mean, it really is. And we've been approached quite a bit to come out with a CBD product and come out with a hemp product. And we probably will. The problem was I wanted a strong strand that was organic, that had, you know, had all of these other properties that we were looking for. Everybody's jumped on the CBD bandwagon. So my bit of advice on that is be careful. Don't just go buy CBD from your vape store or things like that. Find one, you know, that's organic, it's high quality, and you get what you pay for in life. So if that CBD is $10 a bottle versus one that's $100 a bottle, there's likely a big difference. And that $100 bottle one is probably worth it, you know, in the effects that you're going to get. But yeah, and that's just it. I mean, I think that CBD is phenomenal. I mean, there's a lot. I mean, listen, we sell, you know, a dozen different products, but there's 50 more that are wonderful for other people that other companies are making. We're not big enough to go down that rabbit hole of carrying, you know, some of everything. But I'm so much for finding alternative solutions, finding organic solutions, whether it's diet, nutrition, supplements. So, and I think that they're out there. I just think a lot of times the quick fix is going to the doctor and getting a prescription, as opposed to going and trying a bunch of stuff and spending 6 months to find out what works for you and what doesn't.
Yeah, and it's funny because we're not even wired that way. Because you're right. If most people, generally will go to the doctor and get on,
Or they'll just take a Motrin every day, like my parents.
Yeah, right.
I called you guys when I got staph infection from the gym around my eye, and your doc, who makes up all this stuff, recommended a bunch of stuff, and I literally went to my paid healthcare provider, and they told me to wash it with baby soap. Like, what? And I found through you guys, and then I found, maybe, I don't know if you guys recommended him or not, you might have. There was a naturopathic doctor in Pasadena who now I go to, and he helped me cure it. We didn't, use all kinds of the medicines and this and that. Like, we did it a natural way, and it went away. And
it took a while, but that's a step. So,
yeah.
And that happens whether you take conventional antibiotics or not necessarily.
Well, and that's the challenge, right? It's so quick to throw an antibiotic, and now it just destroys your whole gut. And then if you don't rebuild your gut, then all kinds of other stuff grows. I mean, my daughter was 2.5 years old, 3 years old, had a splinter in the bottom of her foot that I couldn't get out. Took her to the pediatrician. He wanted to put her on antibiotics just in case. I'm like, I am never going to see you again. Like, we're talking about a splinter in your foot. We're going to put her on antibiotics let's just wait. It might hurt for a few weeks, but it'll work its way out.
Yeah. That's when I would put that coconut oil concoction with lavender oil and tea tree oil, like literally every cut or anything that we get, like that stuff goes on it. And I swear by it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Awesome.
Thank
you guys so much for being on the show. For those of you listening at home, you can go to Empowering You Organically for all of our show notes. You have links to all the products that we've talked about, transcriptions of the whole show. Go to iTunes and subscribe. Give us 5 stars on there. But Frank and Lauren, thank you guys so much for taking time out of your busy day and just sharing.
You too, man. Definitely.
Absolutely.
I know it's a crazy time of year with the holidays, so it's good to see you. This time of year. Yeah.
I'm glad you can meet this little guy.
Absolutely. Let me know next time you're in Dallas on tour, man. We'll come by and see you.
Definitely will, brother.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much, and we will see you on the next show.
Cool.
All right. Thanks.
See ya.
Bye.